And I'm live, maybe? I hope this worked. Am I live? What am I looking at? Banners, comments. I am live. Hi there. I hope this is live at the RC channel. Hey, okay, looks like. How do I sound? Can you hear me? RC, I see some RC people. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. If not, great, thank you. So, sounds good. All right. So, I am experimenting with some new software. Well, new to me. This is, hey, Russ. So I decided to get with the cool kids and try out, what is this thing called? Streamyard. That's it. Before I used the built-in YouTube streaming app, which worked okay, I guess. But I thought I'd try something new and different. And so now I am using StreamYard. I talked to some people who actually know what they're doing. And they say, you really should try StreamYard and so forth. And it might do something else I'm experimenting with. So looks like it was pretty easy to set up. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing with it, though. So I'm experimenting with different things. You can change my banners. Oh, look at that. This is an example of a banner. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just happy that I was able to get it to work with my YouTube. I can change different banner types. Look at that. Oh, isn't that fancy? And also looks like I can, if I want to have guests, I was thinking of having a guest on one of my live shows. And so I didn't think I could do that very well with the built-in YouTube thing. So I thought I'd try out StreamYard. Looks like you get a free trial and then you have to pay hopefully some not an ungodly amount of money to use it. But we'll see. There's different overlays and stuff. And I see different chats. Oh, hey, Raymond. Checking in. Let's see if this works. I think you can select people's chats. There we go. Russ, I know Russ, member of my club. Just got back from Bomber. I hope you had a good flight. Sorry I couldn't join you. I had some commitments today that popped up at the last minute, so I couldn't join you guys out there. It looked like a good day for flying. Hopefully you had a good turnout and didn't break anything. So, and hopefully you can see this banner. Let me know if you see this banner or not. I think you can. Just experimenting. It looked like a good one to try. And I guess I can select it off. That's pretty snazzy. StreamYard is nice to use. How's this? Yeah, StreamYard is nice to use, even for free. It's for free? Oh, I like free. Okay. And I'll play with it. I kind of like this, what they call minimal, but I actually like it a little better than the other type of banner. It looks like you can, that's not it. Change. I can go to bubble. And I can go to comments. And I can see banner looks good. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. That banner, brand. Can I select? Banner looks good. It's classic. Oh, wow. That takes up a lot of... it's a Wilga. Takes up a lot of block. Banner looks good. Takes up a lot of screen. I like that. I wish they could mix that with this, but that's just me. Anyways, I'll have to decide. Show display names. I think take off your display name. I guess not. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm boring you. It's a new toy. I got shiny new buttons to play with. Buttons to press. Look at that. So I haven't decided how I want it to look. We'll go with that for now. We'll go minimalist and see how that works. Nice and cool, 78 in the shop. Not quite 78. I was a little. I ended up taking a little bit of a cat nap, and I had forgot to turn the AC on before I took a cat nap. So the AC is on, but it's still working its heart out. So it's not quite 78. It's in the upper 80s at the moment. But I got a fan on me, and it's working its way down and cooling down. And so if you don't know, I put a fan in put an air conditioner in my workshop. Big meaty super BTU unit. It makes life a lot easier, and I've really been using it a lot. It's been actually really nice. So I've got some stuff on the workbench I've been working on, and it's nice that here in Texas, where it's literally 100 degrees outside and 80% humidity, it's nice. Before, I'd have to open the doors a little bit, try to get some air flowing through. I had a little portable AC, which was mostly useless. The problem is at night, if I had the doors open, I get all kinds of bugs and stuff start coming in. So it's nice to be able to close the doors and turn the AC on, and especially knock down the humidity, which also helps. In fact, the humidity is actually pretty low. It's still a little bit high in the temperature-wise, but the humidity is down, so it feels not too bad. Anyway, sorry. I'm not 60 people. So last time I did a live show, I mentioned that I probably was going to try to do it more often. And I realized, hey, wait, the month is ending, so consider this the end of the month live show. And I don't have a huge itinerary. I had some notes of a few things I guess I'd want to talk about. And of course, any questions you guys may have, please, by all means, throw something up in the chat. This is cool. I can do this. You look hot, but I was too shy. I don't know how to take that, Jeremy, but thank you, I think. So this is the I like to be able to select people. No, not in echo mode. I'm in super blast mode at the moment. Echo comes later. Let's talk about the air conditioner. So anyways, I had a busy day. I know Russ was alluding to earlier. There was a jet meet at Bomber Field, kind of impromptu sort of for the local guys, nothing major. And I have a couple of jets and a turbine stuff. I really need to get flying, but I had to spend some time with my own club members today. And I ended up flying a couple of neat things. And since I have Streamyard, I wonder if I can do that. You guys are going to be an experiment. Let's see if this works. How can I do this? Share? Going to experiment with something here. Let's try that. Got to fly now. Hey, this looks fun. Mitch, is that really you, Mitch? Hey, man. I didn't know you followed me on the channel. Little son of a mother. Well, I got to be careful what I say. Anyways. Well, thanks for joining in, Mitch. We'll talk to you later. Oshkosh media coverage week. Yeah, Oshkosh has been going on this whole week. And you see in the banner here, it says RC Roundtable. One of my co-hosts on RC Roundtable is at Oshkosh, the Air Venture, as it's called. It looks like some good stuff there. Looks like also some nice weather. I've been to Oshkosh a couple of times, and including with Mitch, as a matter of fact. He's in the chat. And so we went there a couple of times with our own little projects and stuff. It's always been great. Met some interesting people, some famous people. I know I've seen Chuck Yeager there. I've seen Jim Beattie. Both of us have passed away since. And a few other people. Seen the RV vans for Stoll playing. Yes, the RV-15, if I remember correctly. There was, it made its appearance. It flew in, which was nice. And it's interesting. In fact, I was talking to another gentleman I know at work who has his own private aircraft. He flies a nice little composite thing, and we were talking about the RV-15, and we both thought it was interesting that that RV would come out with that type of plane, a high-wing STOL bush plane. Seems very un-RV-like. Not to say it's bad or anything, it just seems a real interesting direction that they went. Still a home built, and they have some interesting innovations in the way it's constructed, and suspension. It actually has an interesting suspension on the main gear and looks fairly roomy. And it had quite a good crowd around it. The videos I saw, I think their video and one of the YouTubers, a big famous, I can't remember his name, that's For Real Aviation was there, and he went and walked around it, talked about it and stuff. So it was seems like looks like they may have another winner on their hands for the home build community. It'd be interesting. Funny thing, our RC Model Club meets at a location that has the EAA local club, like right next, the next room over. So next club meeting, I may sneak into the EAA club guys and see what they're saying, if they have any thoughts about the RV-15. I know some RV flyers there and all kinds of other stuff. And it should be interesting to see their opinion on if they think it's going to be the next hot thing, or if it's be a flash in the pan. You know, you never know with these things. It did seem, for what it was, it seemed pretty nice. Looks like they have a fairly large engine in it, a Continental 360 or 350, something like that. I'm just going off the top of my head, but that just was that's the thing. Now, also, if you're, I think it's wrapping up, right? AirVenture is wrapping up today or tomorrow. They're doing RC model flying there. They have a section. I saw Horizon Hobbies was there. They're posting videos all over the time, and they were also showing stuff of real aircraft. But there is a section. The AMA has set up some simulators, and I think Flight Test is there, and there's an area where you can fly radio controlled airplanes there at AirVenture. I thought it was pretty neat. So Jordan does yes. In fact, it was we had it planned on having a live show on the RC Roundtable, I think this weekend, but both the co-hosts were just they couldn't make it. Lee is so busy at AirVenture that he said he had no time. He's basically there all day, and he goes back to the hotel, passes out, wakes up in the morning, and to repeat. And Terry is real busy with some personal stuff, so he was kind of unavailable. We actually have some stuff I was trying to see if we could publish. Back when we went to Joe Nall, we actually did a bunch of interviews with some vendors and stuff, and we've been procrastinating. We really wanted to get them out. I had a great talk with the guy that runs one of the big, he's from Germany, I forgot his name, and he runs one of the big composite, Comp ARF, that's it. The guy that runs Comp ARF had a funny story. I don't know if you heard of how I was talking to him, didn't realize who he was. So the guy who runs Comp ARF gave me a nice interview. We had some interview with some other people running stuff in the show. And so at some point, I think we'll have sort of a half show special on RC Roundtable. So stay tuned. If you don't know the RC Roundtable, it's a podcast that I co-host with two other gentlemen, fellow friends and pilots. And so go to rcroundtable.com. And you can listen live online. You can download them for later. You can go to iTunes and Podbean and other stuff and download those previous episodes. Please join up and take a listen. We always talk about interesting stuff. We have interesting guests. We got a cool guest lined up. It's hopefully sometime soon in the future that we really need to listen to and talk to him. So rcroundtable.com. So I know we were talking about real aircraft, and this is a model thing, but hey, I don't care. It's HobbyView. Flying is a hobby, right? So anyways, I lost my place. What was I talking about? Jordan distracted me, but it was a good distraction. So I was talking about flying. I had a good, interesting day of flying today. Even though I missed out on doing some jet activity, I actually was pretty busy with my own club. I had an opportunity to fly. That's what it was. I was going to try to link up. So I had an opportunity to fly a couple of new models that weren't mine. So that's always fun, flying models that are somebody else's. And I want to see if I can as I'm experimenting with StreamYard, let's see if I can do extra camera video file. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I'm looking at the options here on StreamYard. There's some new stuff. Slides. What's a slide? You have no slides from computer. Add slide. I'll have to experiment with some of this. So it looks like maybe slides, still pictures. It says extra camera, so I can put in the second camera. So I might have to try this. Upgrade for multiple cameras. That's the professional version. So sometimes I've done live streaming on building stuff. This could be interesting if I have a couple of cameras set up. One for a wide angle, one maybe a top down or something. So why didn't you guys tell me about this before? So anyways, I wanted to share a screen. Oh, I guess I got to start it up. So I'm going to experiment. You guys are the guinea pigs. Well, I'll experiment with, oh, that's not what I want. Stop that. Stop that. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let's see, window. All right, so hold on, let me, all right, so I'm going to click on something and let me know if you see it and if it has audio. All right, so here I'm at the field today. Hopefully you see this. StreamYard is sharing a window. Okay, so it looks like it's playing. Throw it in the chat if you can see this, and I'm going to play it a little bit. I can't hear. I don't have my headphones hooked up, so I'm just going to click play for a second. Oh, I see the chat. You see that in the chat? Yes, all right. Let me know if you hear audio. So I know. So yes, this is a Viper 90. This is one of the new Viper from E-Flight. And I'll wait for the chat. Tell me if they heard the audio or not. No audio. Bring up the speaker icon. Thank you. No audio. I wonder why there's no audio. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being a guinea pig on this because I don't get it right now. I wonder why there's no audio. Anybody familiar with StreamYard? Why wouldn't I have not audio? Oh, look at that. I can actually see the, okay. Left. Oh, maybe there's on the left side. Edit name, stop screen. Full screen layout. Oh, you can see the mouse. Because speaker's on. That's audio. That's mute mic. I didn't see it. Edit name, stop screen. Can I left click it? I wonder why it won't show audio. It's up. It's not muted. So layout. Stop cam. Mute. Settings. I have no idea. I may have to look that up. If you guys are not sure, I don't want to bore you with this because I'm not seeing anything obvious. Oh, neat. I can select. Oh, I do like that, though. Interesting. All right. Have that option. Yeah, I'm not sure why the audio. I do like that, but I can try playing it again. I'll try that. There's no audio. There's full screen without me. See if it has any audio. Oh, what's this? Full screen layout. Huh. Don't know. That's interesting. Oh, maybe because this is plugged in. Let's try that. Oh, I got headphones. Repeat it. I unplugged something. We'll try it again. See if we get any audio. No. Well, anyways, I don't want to bore you to death with that. So you can hear me, but could you hear the video? Sean? Or anybody? I think there's so much of a delay between talking and chat. Yes. Click on the three dots. There are three sets of three dots. Any particular three dots? I'm looking at three dots. I see that. It doesn't give me that. It says remove full screen. The three dots over my picture. Edit name. Edit audio avatar. Stop mic cam. No. Edit name. Stop screen. Hey, Tony. How you doing? Thanks for joining in and watching me fumble with Streamyard. For some reason, not playing my audio in the video. So I don't know. Maybe it needs permissions or something. I'll have to look it up. Bottom right. No, cast the device, zoom to fill, repeat, audio play. So I don't know. For some reason, it's not playing audio. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to go online and find why it's not doing it. It's got to be a common thing. We're using Windows Media Player. But anyways, let me just talk about it. So this is the Viper 90. This is 6 cell, 90 millimeter Viper. I've flown a Viper 70 a few times with club members, and I thought it was quite a nice model. And so one of the members actually ended up two. I flew two different Viper 90s today from different club members. I maidened them, as a matter of fact. They were really nice enough to say, hey, would you mind maiden this aircraft? Since I was out, I thought, hey, since I'm going to be maidening these, why don't I just do a quick video? So this one will be the subject of a video in a very near future. I will do a what I call quick reviews, HobbyView quick review. I thought that's semi-lyrical. And the Viper 90, spoiler alert, is actually really nice. There's one minor thing you got to be careful with it, but other than that, it flew very nice. It's reasonably fast, easy to fly. I tested out regular flight and both safe mode to see how it flew that way. Some people like to run in that mode, and I was quite impressed with it. It's really nice. And not only that, but I also got a chance to fly this. Let's see if I have it. That's not it. I'm going to load up another video. All right. I'm not going to have any audio. Let's just share a video file. How do I do that? Hold on a second. I'm going to try something different. Gotta find it. On the SD, okay. Well, crud, is it this one? Give me a second. 92, all right. All right, loading another. Ah, hey, can you hear the audio in this one?
There we go. Sync.
So,
Hello, welcome to HobbyView.
So this is the new Habu SS as well. This is an upgraded version of the Habu STS, if I remember correctly. And they give it a bit more colorful paint scheme. So the audio worked on that? Okay, so I have to do it a different way. That's interesting. I found out, yes, audio's good. All right. Well, that's just a teaser. You have to watch the video to get the rest of it. So we also had a chance to fly the Habu ST. I had fly the Habu SS. I keep getting STS and SS mixed up. So this is the STS was the trainer version. It was meant for 3 to 4 cells, and I did a video on that. You can look in my video catalog channel and see it. And so one of the club members just recently picked up the SS version, which is this is a plug and play. So you have to put your own receiver in it. There's no fancy electronics. But it does have smaller wheels and the upgraded motor fan for 4 to 6S. So this one's more sprightly, and but still maintains the very basic 4-channel. Try and play the first one. Oh, okay, I maybe replay the first one. So this was also really nice. This was nice, very nice model. Super, super easy to fly. If you remember, the STS was actually meant to be a trainer model, not just a trainer jet, but a trainer, even for newbie first-time flyers. And I thought it was odd, but it actually really does fly a lot like a trainer with the added electronic stuff on it. Now this one is not quite as trainer-ish because there's no safe, there's no AS3X in it. This was particularly one flown actually on a Futaba radio system. But he asked me to bring it up and made it for him, and I went and flew it and also videotaped it. So this will be another video from the field, a short, quick review. And I have to say, it's really nice. This would make a fantastic second plane for anybody, pretty much. You couldn't really stall it out of the air. I tried a couple of deep stall tests, and it would just mush. You could pretty much land it in a full deep stall. It was really, really well behaved. But it was reasonably quick and quite responsive. You can zip it around. You can do high-speed turns. You can really just jerk around the air. You couldn't really cause it to do anything bad. Like I say, no bad habits. Excuse me. And it was just super easy to fly. We have a club member, one of my students. He's solo and he's off in his own flying, and he's actually doing aerobatics and stuff with his apprentice, of all things. And so he's looking at, he wants to try a jet. And I really think this would be probably the perfect model for him. Something that's reasonably aerobatic, a little faster, but still very easily handling. Can't get in trouble with it. So that's my day was spent getting these flying, getting ready, doing some videos. Raymond says try the first video. So how do I get rid of this one? Oh, remove. There's a big remove button. That's how you do it. All right, so let me try video file again. First one. There we go. Let me let you hear the video on this one.
Quick review at HobbyView.
Or if it's just a bad video.
Quick review.
It's interesting. The screen's a little different.
Viper 90.
Oh, because I did that.
I've flown a Viper 70 before, but this is
and
first
you can hear me
time
just introducing.
Now, this is not my plane. This is a fellow club members.
The Viper 90. Let me know if you heard audio on that as well. Again, I was experimenting with Streamyard. Yes. All right. So note to self, if I want to play videos, that's how I got to do it. Well, that's interesting. And it remembers the videos that I played previously. That is interesting. All right. So yeah, if you're joining new, I'm experimenting with Streamyard instead of the YouTube built-in thing. It looks like Streamyard gives me some extra, what do you call it? Abilities and stuff. So now I'm thinking of expanding my live shows a little bit and having some extra features. So now I can play videos and slideshows, and had some other stuff in here. Extra camera. So if I do another live show of a build or something, build reminds me of something. I can have people. I can have Tony can join me if he wants sometimes, and other friends. I know Tony personally. He's been on the RC Roundtable, and so forth. And I might have do some interesting pre-recorded stuff to be posted later. So thanks, guys, for giving me some hanging in with me while I figure this out. So I will get rid of this as well. And I need to get a new mouse. It doesn't click half the time. Hopefully at some point I get rid of that little Streamyard thing. So anyways, what else? I had a few things to talk about. I had some, somebody was asking about stuff I've been working on. I can't remember if I had told you about, I think I talked about it a little bit before, the Old School Model Works. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, the camera's kind of zoomed in. 109. This has been built and flown. Maybe this is why I need two cameras. This is a full kit. This is not an ARF. Okay, see you later, Raymond. So this is the electric ARF. Just came out, not ARF. Kit, sort of profile-ish, electric or glow. You can put a glow engine in it. He has provisions for that from the Old School Model Works guy. And this is a review model for Model Aviation Magazine. I've submitted the article and some flight video, and so it should be in one of the next issues. I'm not sure which one, maybe this next one or next after. So very shortly. And I've flown it a bunch of times. It's a really nice flying model. And I got it all dressed up in out of Galan colors from Battle of Britain era of World War II. It's the colors are ish, the blue is probably not quite right. It just what was it, Hangar 9 Ultra Coat that I could find. I was close to the colors. It's a sport scale, so I'm not looking to win any scale competitions with it, but still had a lot of fun. And I painted the spinner. I think I forgot to mention that in the article that I painted the spinner. It's interesting because you got a slot for the battery that goes right in the side here. The speed controller is down here, the motor. It's very quick and easy, no frills. It's didn't click. I get a new mouse. So yeah, Captain says slide spinner. Yeah, this is a spinner for extra air cooling, and in the back of the spinner, it's open. You can see the open slots, so air can be it acts sort of as a fan. There's actually angled inputs, slots, so to force air from the front out through the motor. So it's actually a really clever design. It looks kind of weird, but when it's running, you really can't tell. Yeah, it's got a metal backplate. I know I talked about it a little bit. I think I was still building it, so now I got the full set of decals on it. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera angle. Everything's backwards. So it's cool. I've had a few 109 models in the past, and I didn't have any currently. I think the last one I had was a GWS one or something. I think I sold it. So I got another one. And I like this particular version of the 109. If you look at them, there's actually different ones. The early models had the squared off wingtips, and you can see the struts on the tail. Before they hit it with the ugly stick, it didn't have all the blisters and stuff. But as a matter of fact, I was speaking of Oshkosh. There are a couple of 109s at the Oshkosh. I don't know where they came from. If they're real, they look very real to me. Look like a late model 109s. Be really curious where they came from, and if they're from the U.S. or from overseas. And I thought it was just one, but I saw another picture. There's two distinct paint schemes. They both look to be older, I don't know, G models or something like that. But that's you hardly ever see them. The battery size. Yes, since I can do this now. Note to self, get a new mouse. It runs on a 3S or 4S 2200. And I flew it on both. And it flies just fine on a 3S. There's no problem. But the 4S does give it a bit more of a kick in the pants. It's up to you. The balance fine with either one. I'm perfectly happy flying it on 3S, but just out of curiosity, I flew 4S. I did have a couple of different props. On the 4S, I went with a little less pitch on it, but just got the speed control I got with is pretty beefy, 65 amp. So the speed controller can handle it. The battery is only 2200, so I didn't want to push it too much because you just don't have a lot of power, a lot of capacity in those. But definitely look it up. They've got a P51 version too now. So it's the same format. It's got this squared off, semi-profile fuselage, built up wing that's fully sheeted. And it's fairly quick build, all balsa, laser cut. I think the wings are the same for both the P51 and 109. The fuselage is shaped differently, of course. So hopefully have a few more. Also, if they're popular enough. So if you've got a hankering to build something, winter's coming. I definitely would recommend. It's hand launch only. There's no wheels, so you gotta go. This is all old school. Model Works makes old school planes. So all you need is just you or a buddy, throw it, fly it around, have fun with it, and that's all I gotta say about that. I'm gonna put it down here somewhere. Let's see. Somebody else was saying something. So, these damn balsa. Yes, it's all balsa. There's a little bit of plywood in there, but it's all balsa. You will see when the article comes out, there will be an accompanying video, and you can see some of the construction in the video. Actually, usually, a lot of times I'll just have a flight video, but just in this flight video, I also have some construction in it as well. You can see all the wing construction and the fuselage and the balsa wood. So it's just a traditional design. He does a real good job with the manual. So look him up, oldschoolmodelworks.com, I believe. You can do a search for him. But anyways, that's something I finished recently. I am still working on, it's a different mouse. I am working on the Corsair. I have to move the camera. So maybe I'll just get a section of it and let you guys, I'll hold it up. Some stuff out of the way. Yeah, my workshop is a mess. I'm gonna go grab another plane here for a second. Gotta walk across, make sure I don't break the microphone cable like I did last time. All right, so I'll stand back here. Maybe I'll stand back a little further. And there's the. So one thing I'm working on is a Hangar 9 60cc Corsair. I was going to cut off my head. So this guy has been taking up a lot of my time, which is probably why there hasn't been a whole lot of much stuff on the channel lately. This is taking up quite a bit of my time. This is a Hangar 9 60cc Corsair. This is the center section of the gull wing, and I've been working on getting the retracts. I'm actually done now pretty much with the retracts, and I had to do a lot of fabrication. This is supposed to be an ARF. For some reason, the almost didn't quite get with the program. It's been a kind of ARF. So I had to fabricate, they're disconnected right now, these doors, all the hinging mechanism, the servo connects, and stuff like that. And to get the retracts working, it's got some really nice rotating retracts or working Oler struts and Robarts. These are air retracts. I had to do all the plumbing and get everything nice. But so far, the front door is missing at the moment. I just took them off to work on it. These actually have the servos hooked up to them. You can see I'm moving the servo here. So it's going to have sequencing doors for the retracts. It has working flaps. I have to move the servo so you can see. There we go. So we got the flaps are all hooked up. You can see wires hanging out of it for the ailerons. More wires hanging out for all the gear doors and the flaps. There is, here we go, the hookups for the pneumatic hookups for the retracts. I was playing with those last night. So this is pretty much ready to go. I just got to glue in the little pegs for the leading edge and some minor stuff, but it took a lot of work to get to this point. And I'll show you the fuselage. Oh, oops. Once I unplug something, I hear. There we go. Oh, I'm not going to be able to show the whole thing. I'll show them bits. Talking about retracts, it's got a retractable tail wheel. If I can activate part of it, so you can. I won't do it all the way, but fully working retractable tail wheel with doors as well. So that was fun getting that all set up. It's got nice controls, hidden control surfaces. And if this stuff doesn't fall out, I have to keep the upside down because I didn't put a door on the bottom. I want to show you the front. There we go. It's big. It's banging all over stuff. So this is the. I'm gonna go this way. The tail is hitting stuff all over the workshop here. There we go. All right. I wanted to show you the business end without breaking anything. So this is the engine I'll be using in it. This is a 60cc Corsair, and it's got a 70cc EME twin cylinder engine. We decided to go with this for a little more power. It's going to need a nose weight anyways. This is nice. I don't know if you just talk about a few details. First of all, it barely fits. I knew it was going to be a really tight fit. I had to carve the cowl a little bit for the glow plug extensions, very, very slightly. It looks great, even though it's got a couple of minor slots in it, but the cylinders all fit inside, so it's not hogged out for the cylinders. George, I'll get to that in a second. But one of the great things about it is, you see this right here? See this little guy? This is a electric motor because it has electric start. Behind here is a one-way gear and a starting module. So this is a self-starting engine. So all I have to do is press a button. I've hooked up a remote choke here. So this will be a completely hands-free operation. I don't know if you can see it. There's a throttle here. So I hooked up a choke servo. So you just flip a button to turn the choke on, press a button to start it up. I have a very similar setup in my Marine Saulnier. You can see that video that I have from I don't know, about a year ago, and it worked really, really nice. It's really easy. You don't have to worry about hitting a starter. It runs off a little battery. There's a battery pack here and a starter module. I was able to fit right in here. This little cubby. They provide you a nice little cubby hatch here for stuff. So batteries will go here, and I've got some more batteries that go in the thing. Twin mufflers. So the EME engines are really nice. They start, all the EMEs I've played with right out of the box, they'll just crank right up and run really well with very, very little tweaking of the carburetor. So I know this should start right up. Although I never tried their twin, I had their single engine, and that worked really well. So the twin should be good. So at this point, it's really ready to slap a prop on it and start it up. I don't think I have really much else to do with the model. It's just still, all the servos are in there. It's a little messy at the moment, but the plumbing is 95% done. I gotta put a T thing for the pressure gauge. There's a little mini pressure gauge there I have to hook up. But other than that, I was testing the retract system with the servo. It's already mounted here somewhere. Here we go. Doing some testing on radio. Everything's hooked up, all the control surfaces. So this has been taking up a lot of my time. I've been putting a lot of work on it. Really, the only thing I need to do is glue the canopy on. And it's nice because it has, there's a cockpit thing. It has a sliding canopy. You have to cut out some stuff here and slide the canopy back. So I'm going to do that. That's the last real thing I'm going to do, but I've been putting that off last so I can hold the plane upside down and bang it around without worrying about tearing up the canopy. So the canopy will be the very last thing I'll do. I'll probably even start it up and run it before I put the canopy on. So again, people were asking, this is a Hangar 9 60cc Corsair. As far as I know, they're not made anymore. They're not sold. So this is a kind of a rare thing to see, especially when new in a box. So people are asking what I'm working on. It's got the air tank in there. This is what I've been working on. It's been taking a lot longer. I tell people this is the most un-ARF I've ever built. And it's not even mine. It's for somebody else. But it's been a good experience. I got some other cool stuff I'm doing with it. That'll be cool. I will have a video. I am making a video of it, of the build and flight. The owner's gracious enough to let me actually fly it as well. So I know I had a couple questions in the chat. Let me scroll up. I know a few things scrolled by. Good. Hey, Greg. How you doing? Greg, oh, buddy Greg. Greg and I go back way back. Let's see. Somebody from Argentina. Hello, nice. Yeah, this is a Corsair radio candidate. I suppose you could probably 60cc radio or something in there. Hey, Trucker Jim's here. So what kind of covering you use? Looks great on the center wing section. Oh, so the center wing section is fiberglass. It's not covering at all. It's just fiberglass and painted. It's an ARF, so it comes pre-covered from the factory. I personally have moved over to Ultra Coat, Hanger 9 Ultra Coat. I have the last few models I've done have been all Ultra Coat. The 109 I just showed you, where I put it, is Ultra Coat. The Leprechaun glider I did was Ultra Coat. My Beaver, is it Beaver? Yeah, Beaver is Ultra Coat. I've been having pretty good luck with it. We'll see how it lasts in the long term, but so far it's been some good stuff to work with. George asks, has it run? No, it has not run. I'm actually waiting for the props. I didn't have any props. We have some props on order. I was hoping to run it this weekend, but I didn't get the props yet. So with any luck, over this next week, I'll be able to crank it up, get it run, get it broken in a bit. Let's see. We'll be adding a lot of cockpit detail. Yes, it actually has pieces of a cockpit. There it is. I want to go grab it here. There is pieces. There is I can't take it out. There is a dashboard. We call it the control panel. You can see with the dials and gauges indented into it. There is a floor pan and some sidewalls. There we go. This looks like the throttle quadrant. And even a seat. There's a seat here. It sits in the bag. So there is cockpit details. They're all vacuum formed, nothing too fancy. Don't have a pilot figure. I'll leave that up to the owner to stick a G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip in there or something. So yes, I'm going to be doing some interesting things inside the cockpit as well. Hopefully it'll work out. So it should look nice. Hydrokinesis. Give it right to small children. But it'd be really small. Although I remember seeing a really big plane, and as a joke, somebody put a baby in the plane. I took some pictures of it. They didn't fly it, of course. It was on the ground. They said, "Hey, this plane is so big, it could probably fly a small child." And somebody found a small child, stuck it in the airplane, and took some pictures. Those were pretty funny. Most fun ones I've ever had. We're Hanger 9 models, easy choice. Yeah, as far as I know, gotta click on it. As far as I know, yeah, it's a nice flying model. There's another gentleman that had one of the same model, and he really liked it. He had a dumb thumb incident, and so, but I was a beneficiary of that dumb thumb to get some parts that were missing. So we will see. As long as it's balanced, it should do good. Throw a radio on that Gilmore Racer. No. Well, maybe. I actually have a radial engine. I think I've shown this before, but I do. Where is it? I'm going to be right here. I'll show somebody. I picked up a Sato 90cc radial engine. I got this for a really good price at an estate sale. And I couldn't pass up the opportunity to save a whole bunch of money in getting one of these. It doesn't look like it that it's have been run, or if it has been run, it's been run very, very little. So we'll see. I haven't cranked it up. This is slated for another plane that I have. So at some point, want to get to it. I just get on the back burner because of other projects. But I have another Warbird. I'm going to stick this bad boy in there and have a radial. So this is a bit too big for the Gilmore. The Gilmore is a 30cc plane. This is 90cc, roughly for a 60cc two-stroke plane. So this is way, way, way more power than the Gilmore deserves. Although the Gilmore needs this much nose weight, so and it would fit the cowl. So if I really wanted to make the Gilmore scream and rip its wings off, probably would do pretty good. It probably would do better, you think, actually. Probably put this in the, I don't know if a tube blader would fit. But yes, this is a radial force cycle. So it's got the your compression, your exhaust, your intake stroke. I'm missing a stroke, but yeah, this is really cool. That was my first radial engine, and this should be fun. I understand the Satos need a bit a special care for running and breaking in and stuff. So this will be something that will have to be very careful with, and I look forward to. And it's ironic because I'm mainly an electric guy. I don't fly a whole lot of gas planes, but more and more I've been getting gas-powered stuff. How do I get this? Did you scroll off? Oh, I turned it off. Let's see. Army Green. I'm looking at the chat here. Sort of something else I wanted to mention, and I can't remember what it was. I check my notes. You think I'd be more prepared? Oh, I had a chance to do some indoor flying. Yesterday, our local air museum had an event that's put on by one of the club members. He's gotten in good with them, and we did some indoor flying. Oh, my plane's way over. And I usually bring my helicopter. I did a little bit, but there's a little plane you might find interesting. I'd forgotten to. I'm going to see if my microphone cable is long enough for me to get to it. I think it is. Give me a second to go way over here and grab it. Here we go. This is called the Multiplex Challenger. There, is it here? There we go. This is it looks weird. It's all flat plate. Scroll over a little more. Here we go. So it's all flat plate. It's made out of this really kind of flippy floppy, I don't know if it's EPP foam. All kinds of struts and wires and carbon fiber reinforcements on it. But for indoor flying, it is actually a fantastic plane to fly indoors. It flies really, really slow. It can fly knife edges at amazingly slow speeds. It's a lot of fun just to fly around. Practice my 3D flying because I'm terrible at 3D flying, and I had a good time. And it's one of those planes that I flew a little bit. I actually did a video review for Model Aviation. It's on their website a couple of years ago. I've had this for several years. And I kind of forgot I had it. It kind of sits around. And when I did some indoor flying a couple of times, I pulled it back out. And I have had so much fun with it. I really decided I need to fly this more. I can even fly it in my front yard on really calm days. It's not a day, if it's windy, you don't want to fly it. But it's a Multiplex Challenger. And if you see one and you like sort of slow speed 3D flying, this is worth picking up. The only thing is it's kind of a pain to store. You got to be really, really careful, because if you sit it on something and it's not level, or you put something lays on the wing or something, it'll start warping slowly, because the foam is just real thin, and heat and stuff will cause it to distort. Usually it kind of comes back out, and I imagine you could steam it out or something, but I have to be really careful how I store it. Otherwise, I can't really hang it up. If I try to hang it up, whatever wires I'll use will start bending the wings and distorting them under its own weight, even with no battery. So I just sort of lay it on a table somewhere. But it's there was a video. One guy was there taking a video, and maybe I can find, since I got this new fancy Streamyard. I wonder if I can find that. Give me a second. He put that on my Instagram. That's it. So give me a second to see if I can log into my Instagram. Oh, look at that. I think he sent me a link. Oh yeah, found it. Okay. So hold on a second. I'll see if I can share. Oh, looking at that. First profile, yes. I had a profile plane. Get to my buddy Greg. Like I said, Greg and I go way back. And I said, Greg, you got to try it. You got to fly this. This is really cool. You wouldn't think it'd be cool. Because I know he could fly it in his yard as well. And I'm glad that he got some enjoyment out of it. All right, so let me go see if I can share the screen. Window, Edge tab. That looks like it. So it looks like I'm sharing. And so this is me flying the Challenger that I just showed you inside a hangar at the Lone Star Air Museum in Houston, Texas. So I'm doing some sort of clumsy hoverbatics. And there was a gentleman there with a really neat camera. He was just flying it around in... I'm sorry if the screen's a little small. Can I expand it? Oops. Yeah, I don't see the controls to make it embiggen. But anyways, you can see me fly around. He was in the center with his wide-angle camera, and so I just flew around him. Apologies if you get dizzy. While you're watching that, there's a wasp flying around. I'm going to go see if I can eradicate him. Okay. That looks like it repeated itself. All right, so anyways, all right, so let me get off of that. So you can see a little bit how well it flies inside. That was just a short sample of some of the stuff I was doing. I don't, what do you say? I don't presume to be a super expert pilot, but it was a lot of fun. Sharpens my skills a little bit. And stop that. So anyways, let's go through the comments here. First profile plane, your profile 3 plane, especially twisted hobby ones. I'm not sure what he means by that. George, but it's not my plane, so I have no say of what pilot to put in there. I can give that recommendation to the owner, but I imagine he's going to put whoever he wants to put in there. So, but it's not a bad suggestion. Speaking of that, actually, there is a movie I saw coming out that talks about a Korean War era story of one of the I guess one of the few or one of the only black pilots that flew in the Korean War, and his story. It's kind of a sad story. It doesn't have a good ending, but it's really interesting. They're doing a movie on it, and I think they're flying. I can't remember if they're flying on Corsairs or no. I think they flew in jets. I think like Panthers. Well, I don't even remember. But it's a Korean. Very rare to see a Korean War movie, and it's an airplane Korean War movie, so I'm there. So we got hey, hello, hi from Sweden. Where I see. All right, what else do I have to talk about? Oh, speaking of indoor flying, a couple of years ago, I bought some planes from a guy, and he said, "Here, you want this?" So he threw it into the lot of planes, and I never touched it until this and last weekend. And it's this guy. It is. I know they have different names. I think some are called round tuits. I don't think that's what this was called per se, but it's basically a weird flying disc kind of thing. It's 3 channels. You've got an elevator, a rudder, and a throttle. And that's it. There's no ailerons. It's got a little bit of dihedral in it. It's kind of neat how they did that. And it's just a circle flying wing shaped like a circle. It's actually kind of fun. It flies pretty good. It's a little weird. You can't do a whole lot with it, but you can do spins and loops. And you can fly it inside. It flies really slow. It's funny how it'll get into a weird, if you fly kind of slow and pitch up, it'll get into this weird high drag profile where you're kind of going, it's kind of dragging along until you kick the nose down level, and it'll accelerate and it'll kind of fly normal. So you can really pull a high alpha and kind of just, I actually landed it like that once. It just kind of slowly descended and kind of landed. So it's not very, doesn't really that hard to fly, and it's not really, I don't know. It just is. But for something small like flying doors, I had a lot of fun with it. People thought it was funny. And it's got some very interesting colored wheels. So what does it says? Oops. So Miller says it as a nutball. It may be. I don't know if he even told me what it. I know this is not a new design. These things have been around for forever. The flying stop signs, flying pizza boxes, or flying pizzas. Although this one's nice because it's got dihedral in it. I think that helps. But you can. I remember seeing designs like this in the '80s for glow engines and things like that. And the newest one was the one shaped like a stop sign, and it was hexagonal. It was octagonal, and it had stop on it. And it was actually pretty clever. But I always like to name round to it because it's a double entendre. Yeah, you like the wheels? It came with these wheels. I don't know if this was Barbie's first plane or something, or I don't know what. And I got the comment too when I was flying. It goes, those wheels are rather interesting. And I don't even know where. I never see anything like this in the shop. I don't know if anybody knows where you can buy wheels like this off the shelf. Radical RC maybe or something. I don't know. Or GWS. I can see making funky pink wheels like this. I just threw it together. It's got a receiver I don't trust for anything other than close flying indoors. So for a free plane, I got a lot of fun out of it. Hey, War pilot. Comes the hoverbatics. Hey Tony, have you thought of building another vintage balsa plane? If so, what kit of plane would you tackle? What would you consider vintage? You're talking like an RC plane? But yes, I always consider building a vintage one. There was something I was thinking. What was it? I got some Gillows conversions. I've got a couple of kits that I've had stashed for a while. That one of these days I want to get to. There's something called a Killer V I picked up. I always thought was cool. I don't know. I forgot who makes it. It's an old vintage RC kit. Let me do a quick search here. I remember it was. There is. Yeah, here it is. Killer V. Who made it? GM Precision. Yes, GM Precision Products. So I'll show you, see if I can pull up a picture. All right. So I have a Color V share. I'm really giving this Streamyard a workout. One of these. There's different versions of them. I think this is actually the big one. There's a. Can we go? Oh, good. Zoom in. All right. Okay. No, this is the one I have. So back in the 80s, there's a company called GM Precision Products. They made several different really neat planes, and I thought this was cool because it's got a V-tail like a Bonanza, but it's sort of very sporty, and it's got a 37-inch wingspan. It was designed even back then for electric or glow. Leisure. I don't know if you ever heard of Leisure motors. These were brushed motors. I can't remember if they were cobalt or not. I think they were, no, maybe they weren't. But in fact, here they mentioned Astroflight cobalt. And this was old school, 1200 milliamp hour battery. These were NiCad batteries, not lithium, NiCads. So 7-cell. This is basically an RC car battery pack on a 6.4 prop, an 05 motor. That's not a very big prop. So it probably flew okay, kind of sort of ish. The Astroflight probably actually flew pretty decently on 1200 and the 7.3. That's quite a bit of a jump. Or 049 to 10 engine as well. Yeah, they're talking about a Black Widow Cox engine. So I found one of these. I can't remember if it was a swap meet or online. I just like the design. So at some point I want to build this. Shouldn't take long. And hopefully that's old school enough for you, Tony. I've got something else. I've got a, speaking of old school, I've got one of these. Let's do, where am I? Let's go back to that page. You're going to see me search in real time. I've got one of these. What is it called? Forgot what it's called. Hey, it's Sunday. My brain's fried. Give me a second. Maybe I'll go walk over and look at it if I can see it. Because I've had a brain fart. Oh, that's it. And I'll remember. None of these. Oh, yeah, not that. I can find it. So back in the 80s, there was a whole series of planes called the HOTS. Let's see, images. And so, no. Here we go. These were sort of, what do you want to call it? Here's a good picture of one. Sort of trapezoidal fuselaged sport planes. I always thought they were kind of cool looking. And they actually made an electric version. Again, old school. Hopefully this mic is still working. Very old school, but it looks neat. I've never flown one. And I found the electric hot kit. And so that's on also something I plan on working on at some point. This is the big one. They made a whole bunch of these. Yeah, Tony's talking about they made everything from the electric one, which is pretty small, to like super gas powered ones and all in between. My buddy Terry made an electric one with Depron with lights in it that flew fantastic. And so if you've been around for a while, you know what these planes are. And there's I don't know what happened. My Google didn't pull up. Whoops. Didn't pull up the where is it? Where's the tab? There it is. Didn't pull up the electric version. It looks just like that. It just says electric HOTS. I don't know why. You can see there's a whole bunch. Super HOTS, Electro HOTS. That's not quite right. I don't know why it's not pulling it up. So this is not Google. This is a different Google search engine, and it's, I guess, not as efficient. But you get the idea. They all look the same. Oh, there's an eBay one. Yeah, electric hots. There you go. What is this? 17? Oh, just a templates, plans and templates. So there it is. Nice little bugger. I'll build one. Put lithium and brushless. Should be a fun little guided fly. Stop that. I saw a couple things in the chat I wanted to address. I remember the hots. They were playing back then. Yes, I knew a guy. That's all he flew was hots. He had like it was like the Monty Python scheme. You want hots, or hots? You know, like a hots, eggs, and hots. That's what he flew. But I never had one. Miller mentioned something. E3D. Gary Wright. Yes, I had an E3D. I had one of his original E3Ds for the longest time. Mine was so original, it didn't have removable wings. So it was a pain in the gluteus maximus to transport, especially in a car. I had a car at the time, a two-door car. And man, it was all I could do to shove that thing in the car. But it was a really nice flying model. It looks, you could tell it seemed to be HOTS inspired. It was very HOTS looking-ish. And Gary, I remember him saying at the time, he said he wanted a fully 3D plane, but that had used a very inexpensive power system. So the original E3D was designed to fly off of a brushed motor on a gearbox and NICADs, and be 3Dable, be able to go hoverbatic and straight up and that kind of stuff. And it, for the most part, it worked. It was pushing the power system to the max, but he accomplished it. It was a very lightweight design. I built one over a Christmas vacation. It took me a couple of weeks to build it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I had it for the longest time. I ended up not flying it all that much. I would pull it out for our club, would have these little fun flies, and I almost always would win the fun flies with this E3D. I eventually dumb-thumbed it into the ground and obliterated it, but I had my fun with it. I wasn't sad. He had it's various iterations of it. There was an E3D ARF at one point, E3D with removable wings. If you can find one or find plans for one, with modern equipment. I eventually put a brushless motor in it and lithiums, and it was a sweet flying model. It was a really good job. Gary, I've gotten to know Gary a little bit, and I've talked to him once in a while. I've met him a few times. He's a real model airplane designer extraordinaire. He currently works for Horizon in their, I guess, product development group or something like that. So occasionally you see his mug on some of the advertisements and new planes and stuff. So he's a modeler's modeler. I have his, you saw a video I did of the, what is it called? The Crazy Wing. That was his design. And he talks about how that was just his own personal thing he thought was cool. And then at the time, Great Plains says, hey, we should kit that. That's pretty cool. And he had a couple of other planes that were just his own whimsical design that the companies decide, that might make a neat ARF. So yeah, it's a good. You remember the E3D? Yeah, George says he had 3 of them. That 3 of them flew great. They did. They flew really nice. I kind of wish I still had one, but I got so many other planes. It's not a big deal. Yeah, Holly says cox motors are cool. Wish it was when I was a kid. Threw on everything. Yes, that's how I got started, basically, with Cox engines. That was my gateway drug into model airplanes. They were cheap, inexpensive, noisy, but I flew a whole bunch of stuff off of Cox engines. I still do. I still like them. As Tony will say, get our hands all slicked up with Cox lotion and half A hot. That's not a bad idea. Well, this one's designed for half A, it says, but probably be better to take the electric one, maybe shrink it a little bit to make it half A, but we'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided the power system yet on it. I don't know if I'll do a half A. Well, electric one is electric one. But what I could do is take the plans and build electric and a half A, scratch build it. Wouldn't be a problem. Holy Monkey, well, thank you. I'm honored you feel that way. I will keep it up best I can. I'm here. I'm working on stuff. Sorry, the channel's been a little quiet lately. That Corsair has been taking up my time, but I just filmed 2 different videos today, so hopefully that'll something I can kick out relatively quickly. And I got another thing coming in that I'll be reviewing, and I've got another airplane that I won't speak of, but that it's also next on the bench for another review. Once I finish the Corsair, kick that out. Then the Corsair is near, so hopefully within no more than 2 weeks, I'll be done with the Corsair. Hopefully this next week, I'll be done with it. For the most part, as far as building, I can pull it off the workbench and start working on some other stuff. Warper Plus is a SIG something extra. Okay, yeah, I know this something extra. I'm trying to remember what it looks like. Somebody's calling me. I have to call him back. Let's see. Yeah, they fly well. Yeah, some good stuff in the chat here. Gary S says 049. Okay. What? Is that incomplete sentence, Gary? What are you talking about? Or are you responding to somebody? What Corsair is that? So that is a Hangar 9 60cc Corsair. Sorry, I was talking about it earlier in the stream. You can play back the stream later. I talked all about it. I've got it. It's on the workbench. I'm doing the finishing touches on it. It's a big mother, and it's going to be really nice when it's fully together. Oh, somebody mentioned the little Bearcat behind me. So somebody's got a good eye. So I got to pick this up at a swap meet about a month ago. It's well used. The bottom is all kind of beat up, but it was somebody I know personally. It's basically receiver ready, and it was the price. For the price, I was like, man, electronics are worth the price. So I figured I'd get it up. I heard these are. I think I've seen them at flying. They're really, really fast. This is the E-Flight Bearcat. Not sure if they sell these anymore. It's not very big. It's just a little tubby thing, but I got it because I know these things are really, really fast. And I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to fly these around on understanding you fly them on 4 or 5S battery packs. So I figured, hey, I'm flying around. If I obliterate it, no harm done. But try to get some fun out of it. I've been meaning to throw a receiver in it and get it ready. I just haven't had a chance. It's the speed controller is there. Needs to be connectors soldered to it. So I need some TLC. But one of those things that I tried to be good at the swap meet. I was selling stuff. And I said, no, I'm not going to buy anything. And it just showed up. I was like, God dang it. But it's small, easy to store. So I look forward to it. It's ready to go. Worst comes to worst, I got a nice motor and speed controller and maybe a couple of servos I can use out of it. So yeah, somebody mentioned in the chat they saw it on hanging up the back here. All right, I don't know what else I've been working on this past week. I'm certainly open to any questions you guys may have. Sorry, I'm getting some messages. And I wanted to see if I had any more notes. Corsair, EDF, indoor, old engines. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. Yeah, you guys got any questions for me? Had one with that Evolution radio, great flyer. The Gilmore Racer. People asking me for running radio. Okay, so I mentioned the radio in the Gilmore Racer video. It was sort of a half joke. Well, not really a joke per se, just a suggestion for somebody. I personally had no plans of putting a radio in the Gilmore at this point. Not to say I'll never do it. I needed to move on to some other stuff. It is tempting. I might if I happen to cross a radial engine for a good price, somewhere around. Do they make maybe a 60cc radio gas? If I come across one for a good price or something used on the used market or something, I would seriously consider it. Yes. Miller says the huge cowl. Yes, that huge cowl will soak up anything. There's so much room inside that cowl that it'll swallow a radio whole and ask for more. So yes, so that's why I thought a radio would be perfect for that. It sounds great, and it is a radial engine aircraft. So I can't say that I will do it personally. I might, like I said, if the right engine comes around, if I go back to Perry or something, and there's a radio saying "buy me, buy me, buy me," it certainly can happen. But it wasn't something I was seriously going to pursue at the time. And there's some neat radios out there. There's another company that makes they make a 5-cylinder radio and I think a 7-cylinder radio. And I'm not talking Mogi; these are smaller ones. I'm not a 200cc behemoth, but a 60cc ish or 70cc radial engine. I think they're made in India. I can't remember the name. And that's not Evolution, unless they were a branch of the same people who did the machining. I heard good things about them. And I thought, wow, a 7-cylinder RC radio would just be really neat. But maybe, yeah, somebody, I see this in here. It may be UMS. I can't remember. Maybe it was a 9-cylinder, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I know it was a lot. It was a lot more than usual. And it was really, really cool looking. Gas, too, I think, because... yeah, so there must be, he's saying India, so it must be UMS, because I know I saw that it was made in India. So, and I thought, well, that'd be cool. They weren't, I think the prices weren't too bad on them. The power is not as much as with a 2-cycle, because I was doing some power, what do you call it? Power comparisons. So even though they're nice, cool, but they're a little lower power being 4-cycle and such. But for like the Gilmore, it would be good because you don't need all the power, but a nice radio could fit in there, would look great. You'd have the weight that you need for balance, and so you wouldn't have to worry about really overpowering the model so much. And that probably would be a good option. And I think the company calls for 20 to 30 something cc, and I was like, nah, I wouldn't fly anything less than 30, 35 cc. Most of the time I'm flying in Gilmore, it's wide open. It's a racer, so I want to fly it wide open. It's nice, but it is fairly just adequately powered with a 35 cc, so I wouldn't go anything smaller. So I think a 50 cc probably would be pretty decent. The only thing I'd be careful with is over propping it, because it's not very big wings. You might torque roll that sucker if you're not careful. I saw Tony had a question for me. I thought was interesting. My history of vintage RC helis. Do you fly them in the 80s or interested in them back? Yes, as a matter of fact, I did, Tony. That's a very good question. I very, very early in my RC career, I actually started with helicopters. Helicopters always fascinated me because, it's RC and a machine, mechanical. I bought something, my first helicopter. Let's go through the... I'm going to go look it up, see if I can find a picture of it. I wish I had it. I had pieces of it for the longest time, and I had some issues with let's just say we had some issues with a family member a few years ago, and I no longer have it. But anyways, so let me see if I can find it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, unless I can find it online here. Oh, yes. There's even a video of it. Oh, let me show you a picture of it. Yes. Gotta love the internet. So, I want to see if you guys remember this. I was hoping to find a little image and a bigger picture of it. And not a blurry picture. Man, it's a good picture, but it's kind of blurry. Okay, this is a better picture. Hang with me just a second. I found a picture, and I'm just making it embiggened. All right, I found the picture. And give me a second. Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, almost. I gotta share it. It's a good thing I put up Streamyard today. I've been giving it a workout. All right. So does this look familiar? Anybody know what this is? Does it say? It might cheat. I'll give you 30 seconds on the chat to identify this helicopter. This was my very first RC helicopter that I bought in 1989. It was either 89 or 90. No, 89, 88 or 89, as a matter of fact. No, I was still in school. 88, 1988, I believe. I bought this. I'll give you guys another. I know there's a delay, so I'll give you about another 3 seconds. This is, whoever guesses what this is gets a cookie. While you're doing that, I'm going to take a swig of something to drink here. Ah. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you guys all failed. This is the MFA model flight accessory, I believe. So Tony, you're kind of close. You're very close. It is a Sport 500 made by the MFA company out of England. These were sold by Hobby Lobby, not the Hobby Lobby chain of craft stores, but the old Hobby Lobby in Tennessee that's no longer with us. It imported a lot of RC models from Europe and whatnot. And this one was advertised to be, I think I can zoom into it. This one was, there's a zoom, here we go. Advertised to be flown, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. You can use a regular RC airplane engine. So I use like just a generic 40 size engine. It was a 40 size helicopter, 40, 50 size. So a regular airplane engine without even a big head. It had a cooling shroud that blew air right over the head. And it had a belt drive for the tail. It was fixed pitch, at least initially it was fixed pitch. So this one here is a fixed pitch version. It had a stamped frame, aluminum frame. You can see here, it was interesting because it had this fish head. It had a Hughes 500 E model fish head. So it's like a scale head, but the rest of the body wasn't very scale, although you can see the landing gear was kind of scale. And there was a reason they did that. I'll get to it in a second. It had a belt start, which was kind of clumsy. Centrifugal clutch. It had, you can see underneath the tail boom, that wire, that's the drive wire for the tail. And it was terrible. In fact, the whole helicopter was kind of rubbish, as the British would say. It was very cheap, very inexpensive. That's why Hobby Lobby sold it. That's why I bought it, because I was a poor student, and it was very, very cheap. Simple. You just use a 4-channel airplane radio. You didn't have to pitch, pitch to work with, and it really didn't fly all that well. And that's when parts weren't flying off of it, which it did often. It was always throwing a bolt or a nut. I thread locked the hell out of everything, and it was still, if I forgot to thread lock anything, it would tell me, because that piece, that bolt or screw would be missing very quickly. The drive for the tail would slip all the time. It had, I think, a couple of screws and this little twisty wire. It was in the gearbox, and the tail was terrible. It was just a hot mess. Can I scroll back? Oh, it was a hot mess of a helicopter. Just some more pictures. Let me go change screens here. Here's a front of it. You can see that it had a wooden tray with, oh, this is interesting. So it had a wooden tray for the radio electronics and stuff. Let me zoom in. Oops. Ah, darn it. So this one, how do I do a full screen? I don't know if you can see it. I want to zoom it up. Let me open image and copy it over. Sorry, it's a little clumsy what I'm doing here. And let me double check that you can see this. So I think you can see that, right? No, you can't. Is it still in the wrong tab? It's on the wrong tab. Give me a second. Okay, there you go. Now you can see the larger tab. So this is actually the collective pitch upgrade. So this has a slightly different head, and it's got the mixer on the servo. Now I had this. When this collective pitch upgrade came out, I immediately bought it. And it improved the flying qualities of this helicopter tenfold. It made it a lot easier to fly. And it was actually a pretty decent upgrade. It still had a lot of issues with other stuff, but at least made it so that I could actually fly the stupid thing. And I ended up getting a fiberglass fuselage that was a full Hughes 500 body. And that was actually pretty nice. I never really finished putting it together, but it had a nice big fiberglass. It covered everything, and it made the skids look scale, and it was actually quite nice in a way. But it was a lot of work to put it together. And so this was the MFA Sport 500. You can look it up online. But it was my first helicopter, and probably a lot of people's last helicopter. After that, I went to a give me a second to remember. Shuttle, the Robo Shuttle. And everybody knows a shuttle. And the shuttle was really nice. I learned a lot of flying on the shuttle. I learned really, this Sport 500 I flew for a bit, but I kept having so much problems with it that I had very little flight time on it. And I had an opportunity to get a used shuttle for a really good price. And I ended up picking that up. Shuttle was a little smaller, a lot more reliable, easier to fly. And I flew the heck out of that little shuttle. I even experimented with electric conversion on that little shuttle. I have bits and pieces of it, but I actually bought somebody was selling a shuttle pretty much new in the box, unbuilt. So I have it. And one day I'm going to put it together and fly it. So that's a good question. I actually do like vintage helis. I've got, so I got the shuttle. I used to have not a Grosvenor, one of the German helicopters, Schluter. I had a Schluter Champion for a bit, which was so overbuilt and overdesigned that I got rid of it because it was so just. So I do like helicopters. I fly helicopters on and off quite a bit. So I mentioned the Cricket. I tried flying a Cricket once. Once. That was the hardest SOB I've ever had to fly. It's another thing that you had to really dedicate it to fly in a Cricket. Although there was a local store, it wasn't even a hobby store, it was some sort of surplus store that had a Cricket hanging up. This is a few years ago or so. And I tried to buy it. I wanted to buy it from the guy, but they wouldn't sell it to me. He's like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." And then they ended up closing. I was like, "You could have sold me the Cricket. You're gonna close your damn store and not sell me the Cricket." Anyways, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, I have a few vintage electric helicopters too. I have I don't fly anymore. I've got an old Echo 8 and a JR helicopter. I almost bought a Colt Whisper at Perry, but the guy was wishy-washy on the price, so I just gave up on it. And what else? Oh, I got a friend of mine. He was on earlier. I got a Kyosho Concept 30 Glow that I got. Yeah, somebody mentioned it. There you go, Tony. Yeah, so the shuttle is my first real love helicopter. The one you see in the picture kind of gave me the bug for it, but for flying helicopters, I'm just a persistent SOB. But the shuttle is really I really always like the shuttle. Cool looking, and it was a fun little thing to fly. But I now have a Concept 32 that needs some restoration, glow powered. So I'll get around to it. Just out of curiosity, see how it flies compared to the shuttle. It's like so much fun. In its own way, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. This was the early days, so I had a gyro, but it was a mechanical gyro. So we don't have those fancy electric, little tiny gyros that are use all kind of accelerometer stuff. This was literally a motor with two brass cylinders on a gimbal, with spring-loaded gimbal, and so you turn the thing on, and the thing would go spooling up. And so it was an electromechanical device that would change the servo. You can hold it in your hand, and you could feel it as you're twisting it. You can feel the mechanics inside twisting around and then fighting you. It was really, really fascinating. And they weren't lightweight either. They were fairly heavy. I have one in a box somewhere. I might put it in something just for giggles. Maybe fly a vintage helicopter with it. And the Cricket I tried to fly did not have a gyro in it, so it was just fighting you all the time. Imagine it would do better with a gyro. And of course, these are the days of nitro. Somebody pointed out. Yeah, so it's a learning curve. Tuning a helicopter with a nitro engine is a little different than a regular airplane. It likes different fuel. It's definitely a learning curve. What the heck? Danny had a cricket with Super Tiger. Yes. So Greg here in the chat, the cricket I was talking about was actually Danny's. Greg, you remember when I tried to fly Danny's? Yeah, it didn't go well. I didn't break it, but it didn't go well. But I think you mean 0.29, not an 0.29. Zero is misplaced. Greg, if you know, what did Danny ever do with that cricket? Did he still have it? I'd be curious if he ever kept it or he got rid of it. Persistence matters. Yeah, for helicopters especially. Thanks, Greg, but no, I'm sure I have one or two in a box somewhere. That's enough. Well, thanks anyways. So yeah, that's a good question, Tony. Yes, I don't know if you have any, Tony, but yeah, I like vintage stuff. So I do plan on putting that shuttle together. I kind of forgotten about it, but I need to get to it at some point. Fly it. Just now that I know how to fly, because when I flew the old shuttle, all I could do was hover, basically hover and some slow forward flight. Certainly couldn't do nose in, couldn't do any aerobatics. It was real primitive. It wasn't really until I started flying a lot of electric helicopters of all things that I started getting more persistent with it and getting to where I could do aerobatics. So all my glow stuff was really mild and sedate. And when I started with the Echo 8 helicopter, that was the first real good electric helicopter. It was a little bit delicate, but it flew pretty good. It was a couple of mods and a brushless motor. It was actually quite aerobatic. And that's the one I learned really most of to really open up that in the simulator. And moved on from there. I went on to the flew the logos from Mikado. I'm looking at them over here in the corner. And then something called a Joker, which is one of my favorite helicopters. And on to the T-Rexes, which I have. I have a bunch of different T-Rexes. I saw it went pretty fast. I saw somebody talked about it had an Airwolf. I'm a big fan of Airwolf, so I have an Airwolf fuselage that I will eventually try to put on a T-Rex airframe. We're working on it. It's actually, let me get this picture off here. You can kind of see it right here. This is a T-Rex 600. It's kind of blurry, I know. That is, I was test flying it. I converted it to flybarless. It's a flybar version, and I test flew it, and it's almost ready to stick in the fuselage until my buddy Mike says, the tail rotor is on the wrong side for Airwolf. You need to flip your tail rotor around. And I'm like, you son of a... So I need to flip the tail rotor around and retest flight and that kind of stuff. But again, because Corsair, I haven't been able to touch anything. I have a cricket and a concept. Oh, you have a cricket. I'm looking at the chat here. Cricket and a concept. Sharpie's runnable time in a hobby. That was an interesting time. One of my first live shows, I went through one of the first RCM magazines in it, and if I remember correctly, there was a picture of a cricket on floats in the magazine. And as a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing to have a RC helicopter with floats. Just before I knew that the cricket was hell to fly. But I did see someone once flying a cricket. I was at a field flying, and there was a guy who had a cricket, and he flew pretty good. He was flying around and zooming. It's like, hey, so they do fly. So yeah, if I ever come across a cricket, I might just fly just for giggles. They're fixed pitch, so there's not a whole lot you can do with them, but still, just for nostalgia of it. Warbird says his first heli was a Line 450 V1, barely flew. I had the first version of the Line 450, and to be honest, they weren't very good. It wasn't. I didn't think much of them. I thought it was a neat design. The concept was like somebody took a real big helicopter and scaled it down. And I have pieces of the airframe somewhere, and it just was very loosey. It wasn't very tight with the mechanics. Needed a lot of issues, and so I kind of shunned them for a while. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, I've got this a line 450. Can you help me get it flying again? I was like, okay, whatever. And this was a later version, several generations later, and it flew really good. And I was surprised, like, wow, they worked out all the bugs, and it was a really nice flying little model, and the rest is history. So the first one was but after that they improved them quite a bit. So I have several T-Rexes of various iterations, electric and so forth, big ones, little ones. So yeah, those were the days. So yeah, I mentioned Airwolf. Yes. If hopefully I can make a video of my Airwolf, because I have some new cool plans for it. I got I'm also a big Airwolf. I watched it as a kid. The theme song is awesome. I don't care about the cheesy story and graphics. It was the 80s were great for shows. We had Airwolf and Knight Rider and A-Team and was it Night Streak, whatever, the guy with the motorcycle, and all kinds of cool shows as kids. We kids, yeah, they were kind of cheesy, but we liked it. Oh yeah, Blue Thunder. Yes, Tony mentioned Blue Thunder. TC, yeah, that's the one in Hawaii. Magnum PI. Yeah, I always thought it was be cool to have his colorful Hughes 500. So we have all kinds of cool hardware. Did anybody remember there was a TV show? I can't remember the name, but as a kid I thought it was cool because they had a helicopter. I think it was an old Sikorsky H6 or H5, the one with the engine in the nose, the radial engine or radial turbine. They had two different iterations, but they also had a little robot. They had this weird looking little goofy robot in it, and they were like private investigators or something like that. And I thought that was just the coolest thing, mainly because they had a helicopter, their own personal helicopter. It was I don't know, I think it only lasted a season or two, but it was also off in the 80s. So that's interesting. Electric converted shuttle 6 tow Cobra. That's pretty cool. So yeah, have to check out your channel, Warper Pilot. That'd be pretty neat. I experimented with some electric conversions in the early days, but they were brushed motors, cobalt motors. I thought about doing another electric shuttle just for giggles. But maybe I might still do that after I flight Glow. But we'll see. But it's interesting. There was a gentleman a few years ago at a fly-in that had one of the Horobo Bell 47s converted to electric, and that seemed to fly pretty good. Yeah, GMP Hughes 300. Yeah, Gorham Model Products. That's pretty neat. Yeah, those are very rare. Gorham was an importer of Horobo, right? For the longest time. I think most of his business was the Horobo shuttle stuff and whatnot for the longest time. And he had his own machines. He had Gorham Cobra, I think, and something else. He had a couple different models. By guys from years ago, yeah, they have come a long way. They're such overpowered beasts that just amazing to watch them fly. I can't do. Some of these guys they're uncanny. It's like unhuman how they fly these things. It's like, no, you're not human. You're a robot flying these. It's a computer program doing that kind of stuff. But I've been trying to fly my helicopter more lately. I have. I did a review on the Blade S150, and this is a wonderful little helicopter. I didn't think it would be as good as it is. I've had a lot of fun flying this. It's a beefy thing. I actually kind of broke it recently. I flew when I should have flown when I was flying indoors, and I hit something at the ceiling, and it fell about 30 feet. And the only thing it broke was the blades and the tail fin for the most part. It didn't bend the shaft or anything. And I think one of the links broke, and that was it. It's durable SOB. And so I put it back together, and I flew it a little bit. So it's small, but it flies bigger than it is. And I've been having a lot of fun. This has really gotten me the cobwebs out of my helicopter flying, because I can take it out to the field, I fly around a little bit. I can bang it around in the air. It flies really good, inverted, right side up. I can do funnels and flips and inverted flying, and just kind of really practice stuff without any really worrying about hurting it. I know if I whack it into the ground, it's not going to hurt it much. But so, Matt, you got it. Riptide. That was a TV show. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remembered the robot and the helicopter. I didn't care about the PI stuff. I just said, hey, he's got a helicopter. Fly the helicopter, play with the robot. That's my thinking. Let's see. Chicken versus Kim. He's phenomenal helipilot. Yeah. Story. There's a helicopter pilot. I came across his channel. His name is Alan Szabo. SZABO or something like that. And I remember Alan Szabo Jr. And I remember years ago, well, probably 20 years ago almost. Oh no, it's about 20 years ago. I was at the Midwinter Electric in San Diego. And I remember I saw this little kid, probably was like 8 or 9 years old, hovering in this little electric. It was a Colt Whisper, as a matter of fact, because it caught my attention. It's like, hey, even back then they were kind of rare. And this little kid flying his little helicopter. I said, oh, that's cute. He just kind of hovering around. I think it was some problems with it or something. He just kind of just hovering. I thought he was just learning to fly or something, and kind of lifted up, flew it, lifted down. And then by an hour or two later, I see him walk up to the flight line, and some guy hands him this transmitter to an RC helicopter. I was like, he's going to let that kid fly that big helicopter? And he proceeded to do this beautiful aerobatic routine with this. I was like, holy wow. And it's funny, 20 years later, he's still flying helicopters. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's doing all kinds of stuff. And he's a man now. I mean, he beat the crap out of me now, versus when he was just a little 8-year-old. So that was kind of funny. It's upside. Yeah, it was upside down in a box. Yeah, but it flies really good upside down. When I did a review on it, and I took pictures of it flying upside down. It was actually really, really stable. So before we talked about MASH Vietnam series, I know a guy who he dressed up a Bell 47 as Vietnam, as a MASH era. I think he let me fly it too. That was pretty cool. And there's a whole Blade series. I don't have a Blade. No, I know I have a 450. I actually kind of wanted a Blade 500, but I never got a chance to get one. It seemed nice, but like I said, I got T-Rex 500. It's not a big deal. So yeah, we're probably the Szabo brothers. Yeah, I think only Junior is the one I've seen. I guess the other guy, he has another. And Curtis Youngblood. I've had an opportunity to meet Curtis Youngblood a couple times because he's a fellow Texan. Great guy. Interactions with him were really, really nice. I know he got into drones a bit for a while, and I guess he's semi-retired or something. Anybody know what Curtis Youngblood's been up to lately? He was trying to sell his own brand of helicopters or something, and he had an aerobatic drone he was doing for a while. Wonderful flying. It's just neat to see him fly. I liked his flying because I guess this was before the era of what I call the flopping fish type flying. I know if you get offended, sorry, I don't mean to offend, but some of the helicopters I've seen, you see some of the guys very, very skillful, not to disparage a skill, but it's almost too much. When you're watching a guy and he's going, it's like my mind's I can't process that. Curtis had some really nice, smooth flying. It was still very confident, very aggressive, but it was just really nice. Your brain could kind of follow it as he was doing it, even though he was doing some fantastic stuff. And for me personally, I just like that kind of flying. And I saw some neat airplane 3D flying too at Joe Nall that did that kind of stuff. And I really like that versus some of you're flying on speed and crack and in the Red Bull at the same time. And it's very impressive, but it's just not my style. Oh yeah, John said he hung out with Curtis Youngblood. 96 World Champion in Oregon. Oh, cool. I bet that was cool. Yeah, I've only met him a couple times, but the couple times I met him, he was real nice. He's actually kind of not standoffish, just sort of seemed to be an introspective guy. He's very, very personable, but he's not one of those super type A personalities that's talking all over everybody. He was real, real nice. Yeah, Tony's talking about Mike Moss. That's I was just thinking I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, Mike Moss. He's written a couple of books. Gorham, of course, the Gorham Auto Products, Importers. Yeah, all three of these guys were real pioneers in RC helicopters throughout the 80s and 90s. Really helped develop the mechanics, the flying really push the limits of how these helicopters can fly, because the early model helicopters could barely get out of their own way, and guys like Mike Moss and Gorham showed that no, these things are actually aerobatic. You can fly upside down and do all kinds of stuff. And then you had Curtis Youngblood that would just really push things to the next level and really show that, yeah, mechanically, we now have helicopters that they shouldn't be able to stay in one piece with all the G-forces, but they can. So, hold on a second. So yeah, that's a nice trip through memory lane there on helicopters. I blame you, Tony. What else? Well, it's almost 6:30. Wow, you guys have been real great talking to you guys. Thanks for the live show. It's always amazing because like I said, I didn't really know what I was going to talk about all that much, and some great stuff in the comments. But now we've got who's the ages. That's great. We're all around the same age. So that's good. So there's some great stuff in the comments. Really, what I was going to say, some nice stuff I would have thought to talk about. We all like our RC models and stuff. Thought I owed you guys a live show or something. What else was I going to say? Stay tuned for the channel. I got some, like I said, I got some stuff coming up. Also, you see RC Roundtable and the thing here. Check out the RC Roundtable if you haven't. Check out our old stuff. We should have, I think our next show will be a live show. And in that live show, I'll give you a little teaser. Where is it? Here we go. We'll do a few things. Lee will talk about his adventures in Oshkosh. Sounds like he had a good time. I have this. This is a box. Yeah. What's in the box? I have no idea. I have very little idea. Somebody on, was it Facebook Marketplace, was selling a box of RC stuff with a very bad picture for $50 or something like that, shipping included. So I have a box of RC stuff. I have no idea what it is, so I was going to do a live unboxing on the RC Roundtable live show, and we'll see what's in it. It's actually got a pretty good weight to it, so let's see, loaded up with lead. There might be some good stuff in there. Now, obviously, there's no airplanes or anything, but I'm not really looking for any airplanes, but some tools and equipment or knickknacks would be pretty cool. So we'll open it up and see what's inside. I can put something in there. Yeah, right. What else can I talk about? Somebody was talking about vintage stuff. How about something a little different? How about a vintage boat? So I like boats. I actually host a boat meet on occasion here in my local area, and I was at a swap meet, and basically some guy for what I paid for it, he basically gave it to me. And it's partially built, but I thought it'd be a cool boat for people. Not really for me per se. It'd be kind of fun, but at the boat meets at a park, and occasionally we have people walk up and say, "Hey, that's cool. It's a boat." So I said, "Well, maybe buy a cheapy boat. It's kind of beat up. And put it together, and have other people driving around. If I see a little kid or something, you say, here, just drive this. It's not going to be very fast. It's got a brushed motor on it. It's got a mechanical speed controller. I'm probably going to rip that out. There is a mechanical. It's got a wiper on a rheostat. If you remember, old RC cars used to come with these. These are terrible. This is like one of the most inefficient way of being a speed controller. Cheap and easy, but they heat up and they wear out. So I'll put a brush. I'll use the same motor, put a brushed speed controller in there. It's got old Airtronic servo. It probably still works. I think I need to fabricate a rudder for it is the only thing. But it's, he's got a straw. But like I said, it's just a loaner boat. for people to drive around during our boat meets. They can't get in trouble with it. If it rolls over and sinks, I won't care at all. That kind of thing. So, but it's vintage. This is made by the MRC Corporation. As far as I know, they're not around anymore. They were really big in the 80s. The MRC. So they were real. So yes. So I really need to stop going to swap meets. The last swap meet I went to, I just went there to sell stuff, and I always end up coming home with something, although I was really good. But I always find something like, well, that's pretty cool. So now I got to find more stuff to sell at the swap meet. So I see your question there, Warbird Pilot. All right, Greg, see you later. Thanks for joining in. I will talk to you later. Let me know if Danny has that thing. All right, so somebody was asking about gliders. Yes, I have a long history with gliders. Here is I can't see it. I don't know what the hell this is. Park Zone something glider thing. I got from a friend of mine. He didn't want it anymore. And so it's got just a foamy glider. I have above me a Arcus M. It's on my channel. My very first video was the ST Models Arcus M, and it's still up on my channel. Go to the HobbyView channel, look at the video list, and you'll see it. It's got a retractable motor pod on it, and it's really neat. Retractable undercarriage, working spoilers, and all kinds of goodies and switches that I like. What do you call it? Gadgets on my models. So it was so cool. I'll never get rid of it. It's so cool, and I haven't flown in quite a while. I need to take it out and work the dust off of it. I recently built a Leprechaun. It's too far for me to get, and it's big. Maybe I can show a picture of it. So I have one of these. I'll go call it up. A Leprechaun. It's a vintage glider. It's got like a 120-inch wingspan, I think. Let's see. If I remember how to spell Leprechaun. From who makes it? It was, give me a second to find a vendor. Oh, here. Well, I just called the video. Give me a second to pull it up. I'm gonna click on this, and then click on wrong, grab it. Where is it? Click on that. Click on videos. Hold on, where are you? There it is. It's got a video on it, and I will show it to you. All right. So let me flip over to that screen. Share. Was I still sharing something? I don't think so. Oh, a second. Oh, I guess I was. Sorry. Share screen. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay. All right, should be able to see that. There we go. So this is the Leprechaun. It is sold by, who sells this? I always forget the name of the company. Darn it. Oh, I feel bad that I forgot the name of the vendor. They're out in California. So this is this is a Leprechaun. This is a kit. This is not an ARF. I built this. I got a big box of wood, mostly plywood, believe it or not. And so I had to build this built-up wing, all laser cut. It's really actually quite nice, and covered it in transparent film for the most part. It's got a motor. They advertise it as either free flight or electric powered, but the instructions, the only weak spot about this kit was instructions. They weren't all that great. They were adequate, but they didn't show any setup for pure thermal, just to set up for the electric motor. I thought about making a replaceable pod that I could pull in and out. Then I realized I need so much nose weight in it to balance that I might as well just have the electric system in it anyways. So it's got a folding prop, runs off a 3-cell, 3,000 milliamp hour battery pack. It's got under-cambered wings. This is a vintage glider. This is a kind of a modern rework of a really old 1950s era vintage glider, free flight glider. And it's really nice. It's big. I'm looking at it, the glider standing up, the fuselage length with the nose on the ground is taller than I am. So it doesn't really do, yeah, let me play the video a little bit. Let me know if the video has audio, by the way. I can't hear anything. And maybe I'll turn it down. So there you go, 102-inch span, excuse me, not 120. So this is on AMA's website. This is a review I did for Model Aviation Magazine. It's already been published in a previous issue. And you just see me carrying it. Here you go. This is the idea of the size of it. It's a big mother.
102-inch.
Hopefully you can hear me
Really
talking
old
and not the video
glider,
too loud.
So we're gonna take a run.
Audio's working? Okay, is it too loud? Let me know. And it's funny to launch it. You really just kind of just let it go. You don't have to throw it at all.
Despite
The
her big
thing
size,
is just
she
a
is super
big
easy to
piece of
launch.
lift.
Just let it go. Battery is a
the only thing is it's
4,000 milliamp
not
hour
great
lipo,
at penetrating
and
the
the little
wind.
supple
You know, it's got an undercambered wing,
2814 motor
probably
with
fairly
a 12.6
draggy
prop
at
provided
speed.
good power for an easy
But on a nice,
45
fairly
degree
calm
climb
day,
ups.
it is great.
So with a little bit of headwind, don't
it's easy to
expect
fly.
much of a forward ground speed.
It's a little
Tracking
lumbering.
is good with just a
You
touch
don't really,
of rudder input
it's not
needed for
snappy,
minor
but it's maneuverable
corrections.
enough.
In power off glide,
And
the Leprechaun settles in quite nicely
it's
for
really
a very
cool
relaxing
build.
glide.
The wing is in two
It almost
pieces,
seems to
fortunately,
fly
so
in
you can actually
slow
transport the
motion.
thing. And I don't know if the build review was online. You might
It
check
is so
the
stable,
AMA's website.
you can literally take
Sometimes
your
they
hands
publish
off the controls for extended
articles
periods of
online
time.
digitally as well for the public. And you throttle back, and it'll just float on a good day. I flew it a few weeks ago too, a little bit. It was a little windy, but I was able to
kind of late in the day, but
just have some fun
see,
with it.
that's a really
The
nice
tail,
tight
the
turns.
horizontal stab is actually removable. You just held down by a couple of rubber bands. So if you're
Really
real tight in
nice.
space, you can pop the
Kicking the
tail
rudder.
off. It's a little clumsy to do it.
Rudder is very mild,
All right, thank you.
so give it time. You don't really jerk it around so much as give it suggestions.
How's that? Is that a little?
But it's responsive.
Sorry, it's a little loud.
You can just pull it up.
But you can watch the whole
Really good
thing.
performance.
Um,
Push the nose over there.
I'll show you a
There you
picture of it
go.
landing. You can see how
And
slow it
she's
flies.
down.
So yeah, I do like gliders. I've had a long history of gliders. I mentioned before that I really learned to fly on a glider. I taught myself to fly, and the first few models I tried teaching myself didn't last long. They got beat to hell and obliterated. So I decided I built a Gentle Lady. Speaking of vintage gliders, I built a Gentle Lady with an 049 power pod. And at first I flew without the power pod. I just threw it off a hill. When I used to live where there actually were hills, and I was able to learn the basics, and the build was adequate. It was probably pretty bad. And once I learned how to keep it in the air, more or less, I put a 049 power pod on it and flew the heck out of it until I snapped the wings in half. So I do like gliders. I do like the challenge of thermaling. I have a discus launch Elf that I need to repair. That's really, really nice. I threw it. I crashed. Well, I don't want to get into it. I broke it. It don't go anymore. So I'll need to fix it up because it's really nice too. And that's a video you see in my history. Go to the video, my channel, and you'll see my Elf, ELF, discus launch glider. A really cool little airplane. So yes. Here, I'll put a link to that video in the chat if you're curious about it. Let me find a default view, share. Copy. All right. There's if you want to see the full video on the AMA site. And I have a few other videos. If you poke around on their site, you'll see me pop up every once in a while for a video review. So usually, if I do a review for model aviation, I'll usually have an accompanying video, and it'll be on their site. It won't be on my site. But if I do my own personal review of something, it'll be on my site. Or sometimes videos I've done for model airplane news also will be on my site, like the Gilmore Red was in model aviation, and also the Shock Cub, I think it was in model aviation, no, not model airplane news. So here he says, I always wanted a glider. You should try it. Gliders are really nice. It's a different style of flying, much more relaxing for the most part. Although a lot of times it'll take a bit more coordinated flying to do well. And finding thermals is a real challenge, and can be very rewarding when you do find a thermal and you core that sucker and you go up. It's a little easier now because a lot of our transmitters have telemetry. If you have, like, for Spectrum, actually has a audio vario, excuse me, it'll go and that kind of stuff. So it makes it a little easier to know when you're a thermal. So definitely the glider, every pilot should try a glider at some point. Whether it doesn't matter if it's self-powered or what. So anyways, so yeah, thanks Tony, thanks for joining in. I think that's a good sign to wrap things up myself. I've been doing this for 2 hours. I gotta go find some munchies. So thanks everybody for joining in to the live chat. Really appreciate your patronage to my channel as well. I really, I started this on a whim, and I really appreciate everybody's comments. You guys are great questions, great comments. I really appreciate everything you've done in support of the channel. I'll be sure to do some more live shows in the future. Stay tuned. Like I said, I did some recording today for some videos, so hopefully I can put those up fairly quickly and go from there. I got some stuff, got things to do. And I hope everybody had a nice weekend. Got to go to work tomorrow, including me. I got a real job, and real jobs take up a lot of time. So, but it's interesting work. So, anyways, everybody, I think I will wrap things up. I'm sure people on their Sunday night got better things to do than look at my mug. On that note, hey, the camera's over there. I'll talk to the camera. On that note, thanks everybody for joining me this time, and I will see you in the future, very near future. Wait, how do I stop this? Oh, here it is. Streamyard.